1, Mike's live.
Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? Uh-oh.
Good morning, Simmers. No, it's fine.
No, I heard a sound that sounded like someone disconnected, so I was a little worried about someone.
Good morning, Simmers. How's everybody doing today? I'm seeing lots of hellos and highs. Nice to see you all. Thanks for joining us this morning. Real quick, we're going to run through just a quick agenda, let everybody know what you can expect to see on today's live stream. But before I do that, I am going to introduce our guests. Today we have my co-host, Simguru Rad. Thank you for joining me, Simguru Rad.
Good morning.
We also have on the line Simguru Ninja.
Woo! Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm super excited to show off Nifty Knitting today.
And then a very special guest, we have Steven, our art director, who's going to give us a lot of insight into our cast and build by objects that I'm super excited about.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for that nice introduction.
You're welcome.
Set me up nicely.
I vote to just have
no
Steven just talk the whole stream.
He does have a great voice.
Well, hopefully people can understand my accent. It's a lot softer now. I've been in America for so long, but we'll see.
One thing I do want to call out real quick, something that we are testing for the very first time, we have closed captioning if you are on twitch.tv/The Sims. So that's going to be awesome for all of our deaf players. And then so today, we're going to jump straight into gameplay. We are going to then move, after we show you guys all of the gameplay that comes with this pack, we're going to move to showing you off the build by objects. Then after, we're going to jump into the paranormal investigator career. And then lastly, we will cover Create a Sim and show you off all the cool new clothes. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Simguru Rad.
Okay, so just to start off, I am not in the Twitch chat, so if you need questions, Ninja and Frost will be handling that. So just as a heads up, I won't be able to answer anything that because I'm not seeing it. But let's start. So, as some of you may already be aware, in The Sims 4 Paranormal Stuff Pack, we actually worked with one of our game changers to help build us a house. This will be in the My Library section of your gallery so that you can place it down. And also, it will prompt you to place this when you're playing, similar to the way that Tiny Living or Dine Out worked. So this is the house that we have from Dr. Ashley. And I think she did kind of a fantastic job, so I just want to show it off a bit. We let her have a few, like, extras that we don't usually play with. And that's just, so we really hope you'll like it, and she should have videos up hopefully either later today or soon that'll show the speed build of this and then just kind of the process that she went through.
Yeah, and working with Ashley was awesome. She is amazing. I really love this house. I can't wait for us to kind of get into it, and I can't wait to see her videos showing it off. It has such a great vibe to it. And I cannot wait to see, like, the video from her of, like, how we did her dirty and what we changed.
I think the worst thing was just that I felt bad. She was like, oh, I didn't have any of the like, pack objects yet at this point. I'm like, I'm so sorry. It just took a while to, like, get that set up. But, you know, that's honestly how even our lot builders work internally, is that sometimes they just have to build it with all base game stuff and then start slowly switching things out. So
yeah, she did amazing.
Like, first room is already like gorgeous, right? Like, she did such a great job, and you know, I guess Steven, you and your team did pretty good with the art on this pack too. Yeah. I love these objects.
Well, that's the thing she mentioned. You know, this was not usually her style she went for, but yeah, she did a great job at just composing these rooms. It's fantastic.
If I had not watched her video, like, just to review it, like, I wouldn't have known that she had such trouble, because I don't see it. Like, it feels great. But, so, you know, we're here, we have a haunted house lot, so this is one of our big features of the pack, is that we have a new lot type. So not a lot trait, a lot type. So this is like the tiny living residential. This is a haunted house residential. And when you're in build by, since it is a residential, you'll be able to switch back and forth. And we have some, you know, special traits to this lot. These are just like things that'll happen on this lot, and I'm just gonna let us get into it, and you'll just kind of get to see those things in action instead of like talking through those.
Yeah, and keep in mind, because this is a lot trait, you can still apply up
Lot
to
type.
3 traits on the lot.
Lot
Or,
type.
excuse me, a lot type. You can still apply up to 3 traits onto the lot and get some cool kind of combinatory effects with this.
Yeah, I mean, I've already seen people kind of interested in putting on the gremlins, or so we actually changed the original haunted lot trait to be spooky, I believe, and it still does the same thing. It still brings in ghosts occasionally, but like that on top of this would just be a lot of fun. So right now it's the middle of the day, and not a lot happens here in the middle of the day. Most of your spooky activity is going to start at night, you know, in dark hours. So while we're just waiting for that time to come, let us go look at one of our big objects, which is our seance table. So this is probably the biggest object you're going to see in this pack. Like, this is the one that has all the interactions that we're interested in, and I will bring up our sim here. I can't remember her name, Selena. I practiced this and I can't remember Sims names. Just goes to show, like, real life. So we're going to have her come up here, and we're going to look at what is on the seance table. So when you start with the seance table, there are a few options that you have. So the first one is Sense Spiritual Vitality. This is basically me saying, like, I'm on a haunted lot. How spooky is it? You know, how concerned should I be with this? And so this will kind of tell you, like, how you're doing. And so we're going to let her do that, and I will show you the other ones. We've got Perform Ceremony, and this one is basically like, hey, it's really spooky, like, things are going too wrong. I want it to be less, you know, scary. And this Perform Ceremony will help pull that down. Now, what we'll probably see is that right now, yeah, specters are friendly, so we're getting our green, happy, friendly specters. There's not very much paranormal activity, so you don't really need to be performing any ceremonies right now. And then our last one is Commune with the Departed, which is kind of just a fun one. And this one's really just about the flavor of it. This is, you know, that classic style of seancing there. You're like, how are the people on the other side doing? And this will tell us how that is. So, I'm not very good
Quick
at
little
waiting.
side note, too.
What's up?
Love these chairs, but you're not restricted to just using these chairs for the seance table. You can go ahead and slot in any chairs you want. So depending on the build you're kind of using,
Yeah, it has the same rules.
You can make it that style.
It has the same rules as like dining tables, where it has to be the dining chairs. So, you know, the living chairs won't slot in, but that's, you know, the normal stuff that you should be used to. And let's see what we've got. And we get some kind of spooky lights flickering moment. And we have a ghost. So we got a kind of a sad, melancholy ghost this time. And I'm gonna let her go. But it's like, hey, before you go, can you describe what ice cream tastes like? It's been so long. And I think that as a real ghost, that would be me, because ice cream is one of my favorite things.
I definitely enjoyed the text that I think Connor may have written in.
Connor wrote a lot of the text that went in. Like, a lot of times it's like kind of shared between producer and the designer, or we have some other producers who have like Miriam and Nadia, like they write a lot of text for us. So a lot of times it'll be them, but like Connor really wanted to write a lot of this text, and I really appreciate it because I think he had a great sense for like this whole setup. Like, I love the spooky stuff like this, too, so, like, I think he did a great job.
I think he did an awesome job, and I've mentioned that already, but I want to mention it again.
Yes. So, that was with our, like, that's kind of our, like, first level. That's what you'll see when you start. And nothing really spooky's gone on. We do have the new scare trait, but like we'll wait until, you know, our Sims are actually scared to talk about that, because some of you may have seen it, but it's going to be in all of the packs. We've updated old packs so that they have changed to the new scared buff if it's an appropriate buff. But really this pack is about managing your like scaredness versus like the spookiness. So like if you want it to be really spooky, like you can let your Sims get really scared. And you just have to kind of let the paranormal activity stuff stay. So like over here in this corner, we've got, you know, we've got these tendrils, and we could remove them, but if we leave them, then we're gonna slowly start helping that, like, paranormal activity, like, build up on this lot. Okay. So, while we're waiting, what's up?
One thing that I want to call out is that the, with the Seance table, it comes with a new skill, which is the medium skill.
Yes.
And this skill is a minor skill, so it's only 5 levels, means it doesn't take a whole lot to like level it up, but there are perks and benefits to leveling it up, and I think for the most part we're going to let players discover that on their own. But of course, one of the perks that I've seen a lot of people call out in chat is Bonehilda, and we'll talk about her later on in the live stream.
Well, actually, while we're, you know, since we're waiting for, you know, our evening, I thought I would come and show what the, you know, we won't go through every level, but, you know, as I showed you, we've got a few things for her, and she's only level 1 of medium skill. And for London here, we have everything. So as you start going up in levels, you get these different rituals. You do get the option to summon Bonehilda, so we'll just hold on to that for a moment. And then, you know, you also have, most of these are available as group seances. And that means that instead of just doing it by yourself, you get to do that with the people that you're with. So I'm going to invoke the dead, because that's actually one of my favorites. So, and the thing that you'll notice when you have a higher skill sim is that they will actually float. And that's just part of the fact that, hey, they know what they're doing. They can do some pretty cool stuff. So, you know, together we're actually doing this seance together, and we will see what happens when you invoke the dead versus just communicating with them.
There's some really like cool unlocks that come with this skill, and that was actually one of the main reasons to make this a minor 5-level skill, is we didn't want you to have to grind it for too long to like get to the cool stuff, so we kind of shortened that up a little bit. And part of that is, as you level that up, you're going to be able to create seance circles, not just tables. So for things like Bonehilda, you don't actually have to place the furniture down to get her functionality. You can just do a summoning circle and pull her in that way.
So we managed to summon these terrifying spirits a little. Oh, camera, why you do this to me? And you can see that they kind of like to spook out your Sims a bit. And you may have noticed there was a little bit of a scared moodlet, and that was just from it trying to scare them. So normally, whatever your lot is, like however paranormal it is, like you will only get specters of that type. So you'll start with the friendly ones, you'll get kind of the like mischievous ones, and then you'll get these ones. Mysterious, then mischievous. And oh, his buff disappeared. Sorry, I'm having a little trouble with the camera because the edges are like side scrolling, so I am sorry. It is not something I'm used to. But so invoking the dead will do one of two things. It'll either summon ghosts, or it'll summon these specters. And usually you'll find ghosts that are in your world, so if you tend to not have ghosts in your world, you're probably mostly going to see specters. And apparently they're very cold because they keep wanting to warm themselves up on the fire. So we're almost to what I wanted to show you. And I'm really bad at not pressing the fast forward 3, so, because I'm terrible at that. Because I sit here, and most of the time when we play as developers, we're like, okay, well, we need to see this one thing that's like 3 days in, so we're just gonna like zoom through everything, and it just takes a bit of practice.
Well,
to,
especially
like,
when you
calm down.
play, yeah, and you play the pack for multiple hours, so it's
Multiple months, and
yeah, so like speed 3 becomes your friend real fast, and we're like, wait a second, people haven't seen it, slow it down.
yeah. So it's I might still do it though, because I wanna show this off, and then we can go back to Bonehilda, because I know that that's probably something people want to see, that people have been waiting to see. So.
Simker Rad, do you mind just zooming in on the couches and sort of decor there? People are like really interested in it.
I will in a moment. So, this is part of the feature of being in a haunted house. So when you first come into a haunted house, the next time you hit 9 o'clock at night, the very first night, you'll get this pop-up, and it'll basically be like, hey, you're living in a haunted house. Like, are you okay with this? And it's not going to do anything, you know, selecting these isn't going to change your lot or anything, but it's just fun flavor. So, you know, I think with 4 of us on this chat, I can handle this. You know, actually, Simguru Frost was telling us some creepy ghost stories earlier, like right before we started the stream, and I was like, it is a little creepy to be in the office alone. So, okay, we'll come back to Bonehilda. So, I'm going to come up and summon Bonehilda, because I know people want her. So, I don't remember exactly which level this is at, but at some point you'll be given the option to summon Bonehilda. Bonehilda is a throwback to our previous Sims games, and she is the skeletal maid. And what she will do is she'll come in, she'll help take care of you, you know. As you get more and more scared, you're going to have a little harder time holding on to keeping up with cleaning up things and everything. And so Bonehilda can come and do that for you, is that she can clean up, she can make you food when you're too scared to do it for yourself. And, you know, she's just friendly. Although, you know, you might be a little, like, uneasy from meeting a skeleton to start with.
And after you summon her, how long does she last for?
I do not know how long she will stay, but there's, you know, as long as she's, you know, while she's on the lot, you can't summon another one, but, like, if you want to keep summoning her, you can. Like, I don't think there's any cooldown on that, but I do not remember exactly how long.
Yeah, I want to say it's like a sim day or 2 she stands around, but that might have a little bit of variability.
Okay. Where are creepy things? There's no creepy things on my lot. Sorry, I just realized I'm throwing the camera around, and I try not to do that to you guys, because I know that can be a little disorienting. Man, okay, well, you know what? We're gonna make this harder on ourselves, so. When we meet Gidry, like, he won't come on the first night, he comes later, or if you're not on a haunted house lot, you can summon him when you feel like it. Oh. Okay, spooky paranormal activity, all the lights went out. No. We just have auto lights off. Sorry, because that's spookier. Why can't I do this? No. Maybe it is. Maybe it is all spooky and lights are off. No.
Yeah, one thing that may not come perfectly through in this stream is you're going to get a lot of audio cues when you're playing this pack. You're going to get kind of weird sounds happening, nice little cues that there's some sort of spiritual volatility going on that might clue you in. On the visual side, you're going to get things like the flickering lights or lights turning off. So these are all like symptoms of having your haunted lot. And as you saw, Simguru Rad kind of made this lot type haunted, and she got that kind of first pop-up. And when you first start playing the pack and put that lot type down, it's actually going to be like a multiple sim day process that's kind of introducing you to all the functionality. And then by the end of that process, you're going to be rip-roaring, ready to go, knowing all the functionality, and then you can kind of do it a little bit more on demand.
Okay, well, since I'm not getting what I want to do, let us actually jump into build by. Let's show off some of this. That's actually not going to help because I'm just pausing us. Oh well. I cannot tell if this music is too loud, but it sounds really loud to me. But down one more. Why am I having trouble? I'm dying. It's not working. Okay.
You're just nervous because everybody's watching you. You know how it goes.
Always. No, I want things to happen.
You know, if you need to, you just delete this entire lot. Ashley won't mind. You throw all those objects down.
There we go. Now my Sims are scared. Now we can talk about this. So, my Sims are scared. She's kind of running around. So, when your Sims are, like, scared and terrified, you can, you know, do a few different things. You can scream at your friend. And you know, maybe you'll help yourself calm down by talking to them, or maybe you'll make them more scared.
Can you get rid of that doll for goodness sake? Nobody wants to see that doll.
I love the doll. The doll is so cute. Like, everyone else is creeped out by it, but I actually think it's adorable. But that's just okay. Like, I grew up, I could probably quote the entire Addams Family movies to you, like the 90s ones. Like, that is what I grew up watching. So to me, this is a great doll. Okay, so let us...
Yeah, chat votes to get rid of it.
Okay, so we'll remove the creepy doll. So what you'll find out is that, like, if you're too scared, you may be too scared to actually get close to these things. So be warned, like, make sure to handle it while you're still happy, you're still fine. But otherwise, get rid of those dolls.
That's how you do it.
Ooh, the lights are flickering.
I just wish, like...
Freaking out.
Oh, and... Ooh, I want to pause while this is going. So, one of the things you'll notice is that these paintings actually have a different look to them when some of this paranormal activity happens, you know? And so, like, when you put them, they're normal, and then some of the paranormal activity happens, and then they'll change for a little bit, and then they'll go back. So they're not quite...
keep an eye on the details.
They're not the same as the spooky pack ones, where they just kind of slowly fade back and forth. These ones will trigger on certain events. And I don't know, I think it's really cool because we have these pop-up cards, but, like, we wanted some of these cool spooky paintings, and I asked Steven if there was any chance that we could do this, and one of our concept artists was able to, make these look normal for us, because we started with the spooky ones, and we're like, what if we make them look normal, and then they can change? So, that's one of my favorites. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else? I think that was most of what I wanted to show off. At this point, like, the biggest thing I'm looking for is Gidry, who, as I said, he won't show up, like, on the first day. He'll show up the second day, so, like, that's still a bit of a ways for us, so I can either fast forward or I can shift our focus and we can look at build by. What you guys think?
Let's fast forward a second, and maybe I can give a little context to kind of what we're looking at. So, spoiler alert, going to give a few story spoilers here, but hopefully not too much. So, once you put down this haunted lot type, we kind of start taking you down the tutorial journey. And Gidry is a big part of that. Gidry is a friendly ghost that's going to pop up after, I think, a sim night, and he's going to start kind of telling you how to deal with haunted houses. The overall point of a haunted house is there is a level of spiritual volatility there that you're trying to negate. And there's multiple things that are going to add to that. These scary kind of objects that are popping up around the lot, the different types of specters. So dealing with all of these various things can help reduce that spiritual volatility and kind of keep you in a happy state. And I would definitely say trying to keep yourself in a reasonable state is good, because once it starts getting really high, your Sims start freaking out and it gets much harder to deal with everything. So there's definitely a little challenge there.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like we we constantly hear people wanting like challenge and things that are harder, and this is our attempt to try and like answer that. Is this, we want this to be challenging. This should be hard. And, you know, we've tried to make it so that it's not like overwhelmingly hard, but, you know, it's something that you have to actually work for. And so sometimes you might be too scared to do things. So this is actually one of the really cool things that we added with the fear, is your Sims might have nightmares. So there are quite a few different nightmares that you might have. There are things that can scare you. All of the, you know, accursed objects will help scare your Sims. And what I was trying to do with this hand is that there's actually, we have a hard mode. We kind of have a heroic mode that if you want it to be scarier, you can make it scarier, and everything will be kind of more bumped up. I think, though, my guess is that it won't work until Guidry's here, because it also helps you like disable Guidry. So we're gonna try and get through the rest of this day real quick and then meet Guidry, and then we can see what else interesting can go around this house.
Yeah, one thing you'll find is through this like first sim week process, it's kind of dripping out bits of functionality. So Guidry's going to start introducing you to different types of specters and showing you what they can do. So it's definitely kind of a longer term play session before it kind of introduces everything to you. And I think that's actually kind of half the fun, is as it's kind of slowly starting to ramp up, you're still trying to kind of figure out what's going on and how specifically to deal with it.
And I also think it depends on like what type of lot you're on. Like if you're on a smaller, like one of those starter homes, like it's a little bit more intense. And then if you have a little bit of a bigger home, it's a little bit more balanced out. So that is one of the things that like I've personally noticed, because I tested on all of those like single lot homes that are those starter homes. Like that's mostly where I was testing. I was like, oh my god, there's stuff every day. And then like on this lot, like there's still stuff all the time, but it's just a little bit slower and it's a little more spread out.
Yeah, so we're not going to have control over exactly which specters are kind of showing up when in this stream. Again, it's kind of a little bit longer term playtest, but Becky, or Rad, excuse me.
It's okay.
Never reveal real names. Sindu Rad. How many kind of specter types are they, and what's the kind of behavior with those specters?
So we have 3 main specter types, and we have our friendly one, which like you'll get to, like if one was here, like you could watch them, you could talk to them, you can give them gifts. And that's something that you can do to all of them, but like you've got the friendly ones who are just kind of there, they're playful, they want to have fun. You've got the mysterious ones, which are our blue ones, and they're just kind of like, what do they want? You're not really sure if they're happy or they're upset or not. And then we've got the red ones, which are our mischievous ones, and they're kind of just like troublemakers. And what you'll see is there's actually, like, when you have the troublemaking ones, that like sometimes it's not too bad, and then sometimes they'll start fires, and, you know, fires in The Sims, that's just so much fun, right?
Yeah, they're not great. They're definitely annoying little buggers.
Okay, so we have Guidry here, and I'm gonna let you guys read that when you get to it, so you can have a little bit more fun. And let's see, I think he might have, yeah. Guidry, no, you're not seeing this. You don't see anything.
Oh, what a joker.
We're not going there. Anyway, Guidry! Let's see, since you are awake, let's come talk to you. So, you know, you'll want to, of course, introduce yourself to Guidry. Like, he's new and he's friendly. Honestly, he's a little flirty if you get to know him.
A little? He's like eternally flirty.
He is eternally flirty. And what you will find is that there's this entire category on Guidry that is here to help you out. If you are going, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to handle this, I'm too scared, like, Guidry is specifically your guide, and he will be here every night that you want him. Like, he will be here for you to help you out. So, you know, what's the deal with the specters? Let's see, what does he say? So, you know, who knows? Maybe they're the manifestations of lost dreams and ambitions of mankind. Or maybe I'm just reading too much into things. One thing I do know is that they love presents. If you manage to make them happy, they'll cough over something useful and put a good word in with the rest of the entities at the house. So, you know, giving specters gifts often help you. They really like homemade stuff. So that's what you're gonna want to do. If you want to cook them food or something like that, that's what they're really gonna want. So, you know, you have a lot of choices here, and some of these are like saying like, you know, these are supposed to help you out. Like, I am terrified. Like, how do I handle this? And he's there. You know, if you can't sleep, if you're getting too tired, if you're too scared to sleep, talk to him. And so, like, let him be your guide. And the other one that we've got here is being a paranormal investigator. Our Sims are scaring each other. So, if you want to become a paranormal investigator, there's a few ways to do it. One of them is talking to Gidry, and so what you will need is that you will need your skill to be at max before you talk to him, and then he will go ahead and give you the paranormal investigator license, which you will find, oh my gosh, I'm dying. It is here in your traits. You are now a paranormal investigator. And if you want to use that, you will just do find a job. It's one of our freelance careers, so I'll just show you that real quick.
I would recommend playing through the kind of like first sim week before like jumping right into paranormal investigator, unless you really want to just dive into the deep end of the pool. I'd say this is definitely tailored for like, you kind of know how this gameplay is playing now, and you're a little bit more equipped to deal with it.
So,
but you know, you can do whatever you want.
I mean, the thing is that living in the haunted house will help you, like, learn how to handle the paranormal investigator career. And so when we, you know, after we show off Build By and we go into that career, like, you'll kind of understand what I mean. Like, you're learning how to deal with that. And then when you go to the career, like, now you know how to deal with it. But, you know, as Ninja said, is, like, if you want to jump right into it, you can. And actually what we have is that in the rewards store, under the traits, you will find that there is a paranormal investigator license. And if you're like, I don't really want to live in a haunted house, but I just want to play this career, this is how you get it if you don't have that medium skill, if you don't want to have Gidry. As I said, you can ask Gidry to show up on other lots, so you can still ask for it from him. But, like, if you want to just try it out and, like, go through the career as you're progressing through that skill, like, and kind of learn it that way, you can just buy it here. And one of the advantages, I will say, of living in the haunted house is that you will get rewards store, like, money so that you can buy those things. So this is...
Like, every night you survive in a haunted house, right?
Yeah, every night you survive in a haunted house, you get those reward store points. So it's just one of those things that it's like we want to, like, have that kind of cycle. So the Federal Bureau of Spooky Investigation. I'm not going to try and read this. I'm tripping over my words here, but that's how you will choose your freelance career, and then you'll just, you know, find a gig. And your choices, you can have a beginner, an adept, or an expert. These pay different amounts, and, like, these will be how hard it is. If you do a beginner one, you should be able to clear it really easily. All you have to do is, like, clean up and maybe talk to a few specters. But as you go up harder, higher, it's going to be harder and harder. And, you know, one of the things that we're not going to show off on this because it's one of the longer term gameplay ones is we actually have kind of a villainess. And this is when everyone saw this, when it got posted, is there's the, you know, she's coming for you. Well, this is kind of our villainess, and her name is Temperance, and she's a little spooky, and she's had some not so great history with Gidry.
She's mean. She's not spooky, she's mean.
She is mean. But if you do the expert, if you do the expert gig, you may find that she comes and seeks you out, and she will sometimes put down extra dolls so that you have more and more to, like, kind of go after. And I think it's really funny because we had her come in and we're like, how can we make her scarier? And we're like, she puts down dolls, and we're like, so, that is...
We're covering a lot of the hardships that haunted lots can bring, but there's also, like, a lot of positives that can come as well.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, now that we've seen Guidry, we can head out and look at the build buy stuff. Actually, we've got a cute little mysterious specter. We should not name those so close to each other, but it's too late. I will say that there is one more specter, but she's kind of an Easter egg, so, like, you're just gonna have to wait. You'll see her. You'll
find them. Again,
it's just, we have a lot of little fun things, and I want you guys to be able to explore and learn some of that. I know that we're trying to get you, like, what the core of the gameplay is. Oh, there's a doll somewhere, I think.
Yeah, and on the positive side, these specters are going to drop some fun little things for you. So there's, like, ecto cupcakes and forbidden candies.
See if I can get close enough to a table or something. This cupcake is really cute. He's so cute. So, sorry, I find the specters adorable. They are my favorite.
Yeah, and I'd say, like, don't feel too scared of trying out the ghost candy and stuff like that. I think it's pretty positive.
Okay.
And also on the positive side, like we've talked about some of these accursed objects that kind of make the lot more haunted. There's also a protection that you can use, very similar to, like, garlic and vampires. There is the sacred candles that you can be placing in your house that will ward off some of that negative spirituality.
So this is something, again, that you can purchase from the store. So grab a few candles, and these, so kind of the point of these candles is to help you not be so scared all the time. And, you know, if you find that you are scared a lot, you know, I'd recommend just grabbing a few of these and putting them in the rooms where your Sims are the most. So these are things that are going to help you feel less scared. And just real quick is, as I was mentioning, this hand, if you click on it, you have the option to disable Guidry's visits because he's here all the time. If you don't want him here all the time, you can just disable it. And then we also have a heroic mode, which is kind of like, it's creepy. And I'm not, you know, I'll turn it on. We aren't going to hang around probably enough to really see the benefits of it, but this is something that, like, if you choose it, you can't go back for a little bit. So we are trying to make this, again, hard. It's going to get, you know, your spiritual vitality is going to go down, you know, a lot faster. It's going to make things scarier, but you'll get more reward points. So that's, like, one of those benefits is if you're really eyeing something in there, like the brave trait, you know, that's one of those things that you can do to get those points. So, is there anything else you guys want to show off? Oh. Okay. Dave, are you trying to talk to me or to someone else?
Oh, I was just saying, let's go ahead and dive into build mode. I see a lot of comments looking for it. I think nobody really cares about the couches, so we could probably just skip those, though.
Sorry, someone was asking about that earlier, and I just got distracted by other things, but let's see. There we go. We had both of these set up before, but it was actually distracting from the regular gameplay, so I have to replace them. Okay, so let's do this and turn on all of our lights. Okay. Ta-da! Okay. Now, I have to pause. I have to find a light.
Get those lights back on.
I know! Turn on all lights. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so Steven is here, and he can probably tell you more, but I think what I love the most is that this is kind of meant to be like mix and match. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a riot of color straight off the bat. You can see that. I mean, one of the hard things with this pack was, you know, deciding where our setting was going to be. You know, you look up seance on the internet, and it's usually, you know, gloomy drawing rooms based on that spiritualist movement of the Victorian period. And that didn't really, you know, dovetail well with the kind of more whimsical Sims look that we were going for. And in a way, we wanted to complement a lot of the Queen Anne, that Bayou, New Orleans setting that we already have in the base game.
Mm-hmm.
And so it felt like a natural fit to, you know, add some more pieces to that. If you think about how New Orleans is being portrayed in media, you know, and literature, it's already got that kind of slightly spiritualist vibe. It's got that history of, you know, the French colonial happening in it. So it's already got a nice kind of tone. It's almost sort of flamboyant with a lot of these kind of pieces. And it's always a little scary when you're having to direct something with so much color in it. So much of these pieces felt very eccentric.
Yeah.
But that, you know, when we were thinking about it, it was kind of when we're coming up like, okay, what's cast going to be? What's build by going to be? When we started doing some exploration, it melded really well. You know, as you're trying to do these art pieces, you're coming at little narratives yourself. So, you know, sometimes you'll be working on some clothing for a character, and then you're thinking, well, where does this person shop? Or, you know, what's their house going to be like? And so it's very, you know, it's eccentric. And we're thinking, you know, these are kind of, you know, they're curating all these pieces. You know, they're not necessarily going down to like a large store and going like, just give me everything that kind of fits. You know, they'll maybe go to an antique store or a thrift store and like, oh, I really love that piece. It's got so much character. You know, it's kind of trying to reflect those sort of the cast, as it were.
Yeah.
And so you've got, sorry, on you go.
No, I was just gonna say. So it's like, I mean, if you're someone that really likes matchy, you can choose to have all matchy, but like this looks like, oh, I picked up this piece at a thrift. You know, maybe this couch I bought from a store, and this one I picked up from the thrift store.
Yeah, and you know, you've got, I mean, you want a particular voice for that pack, but you've also got to consider, hey, you know, people might want to throw these into different builds or what have you. And so a lot of these pieces could act as, you know, accent pieces in a kind of more contemporary setting. But a lot of these are, you know, we want to pull from around the world, you know, to get that eclectic feeling. And so you've got, you know, there's a perfect example. You've got that kind of Persian rug happening there.
Yeah.
We have sort of Moroccan influences, we have Asian influences, you know, even some Egyptian. So that idea that, you know, this is like a heavily curated sort of space. Yeah.
This is one of my favorite pieces. So.
Yeah, I think somebody was, I remember in some reviews, somebody called that, hey, is that the Maltese Falcon? And you know, and that's a good point, because we want these pieces not to necessarily be bang on the nose. You know, you kind of want the player, you know, they want to tell their own stories, and so you want them to project, you know, what this is adding to their narrative in a way, and that's why they're slightly ambiguous. But you know, the big thing for this pack, of course, is that we wanted so many clutter objects to get across that kind of feeling. When you're talking about stuff pack, you know, you're sort of limited with mine. You can actually squeeze in there. So, I mean, that was one of the concerns. But, you know, one thing to understand is that the team is always trying to, like, add more to the pack. You know, we have budgets, we have constraints. But, you know, they really stepped up and added more into this setting than normally we would expect.
Well,
you know, usually it's like large pieces.
We got some like extra time, so I think these two were like extra items that we were able to get in because somebody was just like, I got done early. Is there anything that I can do?
Yeah, exactly.
And we're like, more clutter. Give us more clutter.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's always disheartening when pieces on cutting floor, as it were, because people have spent a lot of time investigating, exploring all these ideas. So it's always nice when towards the end of a project, people are like going, "Hey, can we pull back in that crazy statue a bit earlier on?" That kind of stuff.
And that's actually like this. These are we lost some of them, but these are some of the stuff that you won't see until you start doing the career and you start playing a little bit more. So some of these are like reward objects. So these dolls are actually you'll only see this version when it's in the haunted house, but these versions are ones that you might get as rewards, as well as like these hands and these vines. And these are kind of the rewards that you'll get. You might be able to get the soul scrap from the specters, or this drink, as well as this candy jar. And there's little things that each of these do for you as a sim. Like this one, I think, is a lot of energy. And the doll is actually something that you can talk to that's like really helpful to keep your scared emotion in check. And that was actually one of the reasons that you might have seen the tea party that Dr. Ashley had that Connor put in the blog, and I'm like, I love this. I wish we could keep it, but because these are such powerful objects, we really need you to be able to get them through the game and earn them. So those are some of our fun objects. Is there anything... Okay, so what's your favorite object, Stephen? Which one should I go back to?
Oh boy. They're all my favorite children. I can't put one. I think I did like what we did with the love seat and the armchair. Because kind of like when I mentioned before, we want to make sure these could kind of fit in with the base game Queen Anne and that shotgun type style. But I didn't necessarily want to go, here's a clear historical piece. So, we kind of went for that, I find this, or, I went to an antique store or thrift store and there was this old beaten up sofa. Yeah. And then we reupholstered it. So we kind of choose a little bit more sort of contemporary patterns. And again, to kind of, reflect back a lot of that kind of Baroque feeling you get from some of that Queen Anne, certainly that New Orleans sort of vibe. So yeah, I enjoyed how we kind of, took something that was from the past and sort of updated it. And that's kind of the general philosophy for this pack, wanted to make sure there was that eclectic sense. We had a nod back to the history, but not that it was so dark and gothic that, because we want that contrast, right? Where it's you're dealing with a kind of supernatural, which you naturally assume is going to be, spooky and dark and what have you. But it's nice to have all this kind of bright influence. I mean, you've certainly got the dark furniture in there if you want to go that route. Yeah. But, we had to make sure this would look fine for a Sim's home. But again, if you want to deck out your haunted house, it still felt kind of natural, especially with a lot of those kind of, again, we talked about movies and literature. You've got those old haunted houses and they tend to span a lot of time. It's almost like they're built upon, they might have some old furniture and then they have some contemporary pieces and that kind of thing. So I thought that worked pretty well for such a small stuff pack.
Yeah, I love the art style in this pack, and I really think, the team nailed it here. I remember a lot of conversations around really wanting to kind of nail that seance room, that kind of medium space. And I think you can see, based off the objects we chose, that we really kind of focused on that kind of area.
That was actually my favorite room to build, was the seance room. So, we do have... Well, they're right here, so I won't have to do that. But, just trying to find something that, feels fun and, and... Let's see if I can go down and place one of these. But, I think what I really enjoyed is that, I did one of these where we had, a base game chair to make it kind of have that more of that feel of having a lead seancer and stuff like that, and then just have an eclectic living room setting.
Simger Rad,
speaking
I
of,
think
like-
you. Oh,
Sorry.
Sorry,
Dave.
Andy. I was going to say, speaking of really cool objects, probably my two favorites got to be the cow plant in a jar and the specter in a jar.
Yes.
And I was hoping, Becky, maybe
Just realized that
Rad.
wasn't even
Sorry,
there.
man.
It's okay.
I was hoping maybe if you could pop it into live mode, and that's right, it's live mode.
Is that did
you can pop it
something
into
happen
lit mode.
recently that we're so big
No,
on this?
nothing to talk about there. Everybody agrees.
Okay. It's just
Maybe
it's funny.
if you wouldn't mind clicking on the cow plants and clicking on the specters in a jar too.
I mean the fact that I
Yay! So you can name
them.
all your little guys.
I think we don't have very many names preset for this one, but there's a few choices. And then the specter is, where's this? Specters also have a name. Just a few preset names, or you can name it anything you want. I really like Ichabod, so I was glad that one came up because it just makes me think of Sleepy Hollow. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow with Ichabod. I was thinking about something, I can't remember. Oh, right. So, any of these, like, reward objects that you have, you can kind of, we also have this, like, fun, like, sell to this collector type thing. It's just a little way to get some money back if you get duplicate objects, but I also think it's just, like, a fun little way to say, like, to sell something. Well, that wasn't what I wanted. Sorry,
I think you're
Andy?
rad.
What's up? Sorry.
So we don't have a whole lot of time left. Why don't we jump into the career?
Yes. Okay. Career. Exit to main menu. I'll just save this real quick. Always save. I've heard too many horror stories.
And for anybody who missed it, there is a new wallpaper and new flooring.
Oh, that's true.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, the
there
wallpaper
is
is
wallpaper and flooring.
Awesome.
Okay. So, we've got our sim, and she's already at our house on the gig, ready to go. And we just chose an easy gig so that we could show off everything. And Sim Guru Connor actually was the one that set this up, and he wanted it to be at the Goth's house. So we watched him as he's just like, not that gig, try again, not that gig, try again, until he got this house. So, welcome to your first paranormal gig. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is, you know, you're polite, you knock on the front door, you don't just walk into people's houses. They may have invited you here, but you're still a good person. So, I'm going to invite ourselves in, and as you'll see, we've got a bunch of, you know, specters floating around. We've got some items to clean up, so I can mop up this mysterious symbol. I can move the creepy doll, and just doing things like this will help, you know, get to the end of this investigation.
Total side note, knocking on the door reminded me of the welcome wagon coming over to a haunted lot. It's awesome.
Oh,
they
yes.
finally start getting what they deserve.
and you'll get little, like, things from the people that are here is like, you know, hey, something's weird is going on, and stuff like that. So, let's see, what are our specters doing? So, you know, if you want to, just go for it, ask them to leave. Just, where are you going, lady?
Seen some questions in chat. Someone asked, do gigs happen randomly, like crimes?
Yeah, they will happen on different lots. It's not always like at the Goth's house, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of different places this career will send you.
Yeah, it won't necessarily happen to you, but it is something that when you select a gig, you may go anywhere. There's limits on it, but like most any residential, you could go there. So I asked the Spectre to leave. He's heading out so that, you know, hopefully this place will get a little less haunted. And then,
You know, there's a couple ways to get rid of those specters too, and we encourage you to kind of poke and play around with them because different things will happen based off of the method you use.
yeah. So this is actually one of my favorites, is this slime creature. So there's a few different configurations, and they all have, like, faces in them. This was one of the additional things that we were able to get a little later in production. We're just like, what about a goo creature, like, puddled on the ground? Someone's like, yeah, I can do that. So, oh, what are you doing? Come up here. This is how I play. But yeah, and so you'll notice this kind of faint glow around some of the Sims. That's actually from our specters. That's when you know, they will sometimes play an animation on you, and that'll be a playful presence. And, you know, this is the Spectre Sprinkles, and they're just friendly, they just want to have fun, and they're trying to tell you that they're not scary. But, you know, some people still don't want them in their house, so you're gonna help clean up for them.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of a race against the clock. Obviously, this is an easier gig, but it can definitely get harder. So you'll have various types of specters running around causing problems, and you know, plenty of these hidden accursed objects that you're going to have to kind of find and deal with.
Yeah.
So, Gerbrag, could you tell us a little more about the UI elements in the top left?
Okay, so I mean, similar to, you know, an event or something, you know, you have a bar that tells you how you're doing, you've got a timer, and then just what you need to do. And so what you need to do is, it doesn't change for the gigs, like it is just, you need to exercise a lot. And you can do that in a few different ways. You can clean up items, you can talk to specters to get rid of them. You know, specters, you have the choice to present them an offering. I don't have anything homemade, so they don't want anything that I've got. I can offer them some of my soul, which may decrease your lifespan a little.
Seems a little risky.
It's a little risky. Or the other thing you can do, which apparently I cannot do because I am not a medium, is that there's an option to put a seance circle down, because, you know, you're in someone else's home. You're not going to be bringing a seance table with you. No hammer space, you know, seance table. If you are high enough level on seance, on the medium skill, you will be able to put down a seance circle, and you'll be able to run all of those normal seances. And so you can do that perform ceremony that we were talking about earlier, is that, you know, running the perform ceremony, and you'll be able to calm the lot a bit. So here's one of the other objects that we didn't get to show off earlier, is we've got these kind of creepy, gooey hands coming out of the ground, so we're gonna get rid of those. And this should actually finish up our gig for us.
As we said, you know, this one's an easy one. You just had to go around, clean up a few objects, but it's definitely going to get harder and make you do a little bit more juggling. So it's, you know, a matter of cleaning up objects, dealing with the specters, running seances to try to lower the spiritual volatility. And you're going to be getting pushback along the way on all those things. So sometimes it might be a little bit easier. Sometimes it's going to be very difficult to run some of these things.
Yeah, and so this is, you know, hey, you did a great job. You feel good about, you know, taking care of that. And then you'll find that maybe you got an object as a reward. Usually if you do really well, you get an object. And so I've got a new specter in the jar, and that's how you get those reward objects that we were showing off. You can either go home right away after a gig, or you can hang out for a little bit. So, and then based on how difficult your gig is, you will get different rewards. So just do that, and if you want more money, it's time to get the next gig. So
I'm sure SimGuru Frost is like ready to pull out the hook and pull us off stream, but
we still have cast to go.
Do we have a few minutes to go into cast?
Yes, let's go into cast real quick.
Awesome.
Sorry. And see, here I was worried about us not having enough to talk about. Oh wait. No.
Hey Becky, hey, I'm gonna call you that all day
That's
long.
fine.
Hey Rad, and
it's too late now.
Can kids learn the medium skill?
Yes, kids can learn the medium skill. So, your escape tutorial. Sorry, I want to make sure that I don't mess up and accidentally start us into the tutorial. So kids can do the medium skill. They'll be able to get that, okay, is the music too loud? It's really loud for me. I don't know, can you tell? Okay, sorry, anyway, but kids will, you know, even be able to kind of do the floating medium skills, so, like, if they are good at it, they'll be able to do it. So, just real quick, here's a few styled looks that we have, just to show off some of the outfits. And if you want to chat about anything, let me know, Steven.
Yeah, I mean, this is really just the same as the interiors, right? It's flamboyant, expressive, adventurous. That's the kind of characters we were trying to like portray. You know, certainly for that kind of, oh yeah, they're a little bit more amenable to the spiritual side. You know, again, we're playing on that kind of world traveler or festival lore.
I have to say, this is probably one of my favorite styled looks I've ever made. I don't know why. He makes me so happy.
It's like Bayou hippie, man. I love it.
Yes. Well, that's the other thing. You know, a lot of this is kind of that boho layer that we pasted over everything, really.
Yeah, and also, like, when we got these tops, I was like, these tops are, like, very open for the men, like, all of them. And I was just like, we have to have a necklace. And so, like, we got, you know, this necklace came in, and we were able to get it, like, really late. And I was just like, it made me so happy to have this necklace, like, here instead of the bare chest. But
yeah, so, I've been putting it on all my Sims lately.
Yeah, and I think what I love is, like, some things have patterns, and then you got kind of like the more toned down things, so it's a good variety. Kind of like the build by objects. We've got both, you know, kind of those really heavy patterns and then some more calm stuff, so.
Yeah, it's always tricky trying to do a sort of everyday and, you know, like I mentioned, a sort of flamboyant look.
Yeah.
But there was plenty of reference from street styles for New Orleans, which is fantastic, and you know, like you mentioned, the open collars. You know, it's warm down there. You know, it's already got that kind of, you know, sexy sort of feel to it, and we just want to kind of reflect a lot of that again, with that kind of, you know, open, a lot of flesh showing in some instances, and just again a lot of the patterns, you know, calling back to that sort of Baroque field. You know, the Valentino, the Gucci sort of. Really upfront in your face kind of characters.
Yeah. And then, let's see, we also got some fun shoes. Where's that? So, you know, these fun shoes, and then we actually, because, so you have, you know, honestly, maids can normally have their, you know, their outfit and cast, but when we made shoes for Bonehilda, we saw that these shoes, and I was like, people have been begging for these, so we made sure that we were able to give those as well.
I like those a lot better than the first one, man. I hate seeing toes.
I understand that. Like, I get that. Like, I know a few people that are like that, but I just like that they're so very much in the same style that they just, like, feel great. Let's see. Come on, faster. Yeah, I think I like that top, and like the skirt and even the pants are great together. And then let's see, what do we also have an outfit for our child Sims. It's just a cute little outfit like this.
It's so cute.
It is really cute. And then we have some new hairs. I'm sorry if I'm going way too fast, but we have our hairs. So I think we don't have any outfits for the toddlers, but we do have some of those hairs available for them as well. This hat won't let me show any of them, but you know, we do have those cute little hairs for the toddlers and the kids and the adults. So
super adorable. And just a reminder, in case anybody came in a bit late. Game Changer content will be going up in about an hour. We have a couple videos from Dr. Ashley that shows off the amazing house that you're going to get with this pack.
Yes. Oh.
And I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been handling a lot of questions. I guess, is there any other questions that we haven't really gotten to that we can answer, or are we kind of out of that? I feel like I basically made Simguru Ruski, like, just on accident.
Can we see the male hairs?
Male
Yes,
hairs.
look a lot like her.
I think that's, like, almost exactly like what she made her sim to look like. So, we've got this one. And, we also have this one as a male hair. So, it's not quite right for the sims that I randomized, but...
You can look however you want. We support our Sims no matter what. One thing to note is I don't know if we mentioned this. This stream has only been base game and paranormal.
Oh,
there are definitely some nice little cross pack Easter eggs and tidbits. So again, we really encourage you guys to kind of play around with this pack if you choose to get it and see some of the fun stuff that combines with other packs that are out there.
Yeah, and like, so one of the things that Simguru Connor has already mentioned is that like spellcasters get a little benefit to their medium skill. I think they just it's like they build it faster, I think, and then pets may not be so happy with those accursed objects, so you know, watch how they react to the doll. They probably have a similar reaction to you to what you have.
There was one, they were asking about new traits. There is a new brave trait that you can get through the reward store.
Yes, so one trait is through the reward store, and that will help you be less scared less often, and it's more that you'll like come down from being scared a lot easier and won't get as scared as easily. So if you find that you're, you know, maybe those paranormal gigs are a little much, you know, maybe that's something that you want to look into, is buying that trait so that you're able to do a better job when you're doing your paranormal investigator gigs. Tripping over my words
we really tried to give you, the player, like several kind of options to kind of control how you want to play with this new functionality. You know, and for a stuff pack, I think we feel pretty proud of how much content we were able to get in there to make sure that this has a lot of value for you. I think the cast and the build buy are top notch, and Steven's team just did a fantastic job, and I'm just so proud of Rad and Connor for pushing so hard on gameplay, getting a skill in there, getting a career in there, getting a bunch of, you know, functional gameplay objects. You know, so for a stuff pack, I just can't recommend this high enough. Yeah,
they like, as far as outfits, I think it was English Shimmer was like, I'll just be living in this outfit forever. And I was like, yes. It was her or Cinderella Mouse, I can't remember. It might have been both of them even. But I think I put every sim that I ever played in, at least one of them was wearing this outfit. So.
Yeah,
I thought a lot of love for that one.
That piece is something we've been trying to get into a pack for a long time. So I'm glad we finally found a theme. Yeah. That we could like drop it in.
So with that, I think we're going to end the live stream.
Okay.
Thank you everyone so much for joining us. Thank you Simguru Rad for all your hard work of setting all this up, and Simguru Connor. Yeah. He's with us. He's not here with us right now, but he's with us in spirit.
In spirit. Haha.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you too, Steven. I thought you did a great job too, Steven.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much for being here, Steven.
So, thank you all very much. We really appreciated you being here.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.